You all know that zero defect seals are critical in any medical packaging application. Well, today I'm going to show you how to get there, as well as some innovative approaches to streamlining your process. I'm Greg Bergeeg, Vice President of Sales and Marketing at PAC Machinery, and here you're going to learn a little bit more about medical packaging. Right? So when we think about medical packaging of products in bags or pouches, you probably think about something like a band sealer, right? So I put the product in, I probably have some manual labor going with it. If I haven't automated my process, the bag is being sealed and it's being sealed hermetically. This is typically done in accordance with standards like ISO 11607. You got to focus on IQ, OQ, PQ to achieve the results that you want. And what does that mean for equipment? That means validation and calibration of your process parameters, right? That means that your time, right? When it's set to 2 seconds, you can verify it's 2 seconds. When it's set to 80 or 90 PSI, you can verify it's 90 PSI. And temperature. Temperature is really important, right? So when I'm setting my seal temperature, I can independently verify that, 225 degrees Fahrenheit is going to be, or Celsius, whatever temperature it is going to be that, right? And this can be done in a variety of different ways with our MedLogic controller, as you see here, right? All process parameters can be stored, which is extremely important, and recalled, and I've got logins and a whole bunch of important aspects to ensure that the repeatability of your packaging process. Tabletop band sealer is a great way of sealing pouches, right? You can do that at really a high rate of speed, right? You can get thousands of pouches out per shift, and especially if you have different sizes, it works really well. It's ideal for small pouches, certainly. When you get to larger pouches, something like our 552 Med band sealer makes a lot more sense. The 552 Med, it can be horizontal. We also have a vertical configuration. You place the pouches in there, it seals them, and you can even have a 2D UDI barcode on there, which is great for traceability and more required in the applications that you're doing. Next up from a band sealer for pouches is something like one of our automatic baggers, right? Our roll bag automatic baggers, they work with Tyvek poly roll stock, right? So what that means is that the machine is actually making the pouch to length. That works well if you have many different pouch sizes and want to minimize changeover. You can streamline the process, right? If I'm printing and applying a label or printing directly on the pouch, I don't have to have that as a separate step, right? The more I streamline, the less room there are for mistakes. And then it's also does things at a high rate of speed, right? You can get over 1,000 packs an hour, if not more, depending on the size, all by streamlining that with one of our roll bag automatic baggers. These are the medical versions, so they have full validation and calibration. Now, if you're sealing larger materials, right, for fabrication applications, large bags, things like that, something like our Virtra PVC Med sealer works great. This thing can actually be made up to 12 feet long, literally 12 feet. We have some applications like that. It's got full temperature control, right? And we can do that in a variety of different ways. We can do that with the thermocouple and impulse. We can do that by measuring resistance and impulse. We can do it with constant heat as well. So many different ways of controlling the temperature. PAC Machinery has systems that suit a variety of different ones. There's different philosophies on sealing of materials. So we like to work with our customers and offer them the ones that they think works best and that we think works well as well. A lot of times you're not just looking to seal a bag, you're looking to remove the air out of the bag or remove the air and flush in an inert gas like nitrogen. So our vacuum sealers work great. Here you see our PVK Med tabletop vacuum sealer. It's removing air from the pouch and then doing a hermetic seal. This is so that when you pack it, you're not packing a lot of empty space. You're optimizing your case counts. And then if you have larger items and you vacuum the air out, our PVK Med works great. Here you see our PVK Med used for packaging surgical kits, right? Where the customer wanted to reduce excess volume. They did that so they can increase their case counts for when the product was getting sterilized, as well as so people weren't grabbing, they trimmed the top of the bag so that there was an excess material to grab before it went to the operating room. And then when you have bigger items, bulk packaging of products, something like our PVK Med bag-in-box works great. So it's got a floating head design. The head comes down, vacuums the air out, can seal the bag, you can flush in an inert gas, and create a nice hermetic seal, zero defect seal. And it's important about the sealing. You know, what's most critical is that the seals created by your sealer at the point of packaging are equal to or better than the factory seals. And that's what we always look at. And that's what we focus on. And that's with the PVK Med. You have these bag stretcher fingers that you can see here, right? So you put the bag over those fingers. You're not dependent on the operator stretching the bag prior to sealing, which needs to be done with big bags, right? And you ensure a nice clean seal appearance. You've got the medical controls on it. You can add things like vacuum level sensor, right? So it's measuring the level of vacuum inside the bag itself, and that's good for repeatability. And process repeatability is number one in medical packaging, as we all know. Another area where you look at vacuum packaging is with chamber style machines, right? So we saw the nozzle ones before. We also have our line of Audionvac medical vacuum chambers. These are fully validatable and calibratable. These ones, in this case, a good way of doing it, they measure the resistance of the wire for controlling the temperatures, but you got the same system, right? I've got all process parameters logged, I've got all alarms logged, I can validate all the settings, I can calibrate, you know, I can do everything in order to meet the requirements of the medical industry. And there you saw a tabletop, now you see a large floor standing double chamber. So we have those as well. You know, you think about higher volume applications, you're going to put larger items or multiple items in the chamber bed, and then while that's being vacuumed and sealed, you can load items on the other side. This concludes our overview of medical packaging and bag sealing, and now I look forward to hearing some questions from you. Thank you.